My next guest makes his UFC debut at UFC on Fox 21 coming up here on August 27th against Adam Hunter. Ryan James joins me here on the program for the very first time. Ryan, how are you?
Thanks for having me.
Hey, glad to have you here, man. And I said it off the top, man. You are a member of the UFC roster. Has that sunk in yet? Or is it still kind of a surreal to you?
Ooh, it's still a little surreal. It's slowly sinking in, slowly but surely. Last week was a complete whirlwind of just kind of getting everything ready for it. So like the medicals and whatnot. So this week, hopefully by the end of it, it's settled down and it becomes real to me.
Awesome. And how long was this deal in the works? Like, was this something that you knew was going to happen, or was this something that was kind of out of the blue?
It's so out of the blue. I was doing my chores on last Friday past or the Friday before. I was just out doing my thing, and my phone buzzes, and I get out and check it. It was my manager being like, "UFC in August." I was like, "Holy cow!"
And for those who don't know, your manager, you're part of a firm management, Mark Pavlich. That name's very familiar in Canadian MMA. Obviously, the president of the Maximum Fighting Championship. So I'm sure it helps having him there because he's a guy who's obviously very good about making deals. But I got to know, where were you when you found out the news? You said you were doing chores. Were you in your house? I'm assuming when you got the call.
I just got back from Costco,
Okay, nice.
and yeah, I just got out of my car and I looked at my phone.
Good stuff.
That was it.
Who's the first person you told regarding the news?
It was my partner, Rainer Archer.
Oh, awesome. Good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Was there any doubt at all in your MMA career that maybe you wouldn't get to the UFC? You know, we haven't seen too many Canadian guys getting signed. I believe the last one before you guys was Misha Serkinov. It doesn't seem like too many Canadians are getting signed these days.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Tell you the truth, I thought, and me and my coach Adam Zuchek have kind of talked about like maybe 1 and 2 before I got the call. So yeah, I was slowly getting to the point where I wasn't really sure what was going to happen in my own MMA career, and if I was ever going to get there.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Let's go back a little bit here. For those who aren't familiar with your backstory, how did you get involved in MMA?
Honestly, it was just a matter of getting in shape. When I first moved up here in Victoria, I was out of shape, and I like needing to meet some new people. I started at the gym lifting weights, and I was like, well, this is boring. So then I started looking in the phone book, and I found Zuma Martial Arts, and I just went, and that was it.
Yeah, and you and I were talking off air. You're actually from Newfoundland originally. What brought you to Victoria?
An old a friend of mine that me and him met in grade 7, and then after college, he was like, "Oh, move up to Victoria. It doesn't snow." So I was like, "Sweet, I'm there."
Awesome. Now, along with fighting, what else pays the bills for you right now?
I work for the provincial government doing web development.
Oh, no way. Okay, awesome. That's good. I mean, that must be kind of nice too, because I know with those government jobs, they usually give you kind of a lot of, the hours are kind of set. I would assume, so that probably gives you a little bit of flexibility in terms of training and everything else.
Yeah, working 9 to 5 is really good because I mean, at the very least, it gives you a schedule, so you can get pace your life outside of work around that. It's not hectic. I'm not doing night shifts. I'm not being physically. My job isn't physically demanding, so I'm able to, get some rest during the day before I train hard at night.
Good stuff. Now, I was looking at your record here. You made your pro debut in 2008 and you fought once. Then you fought once in 2009. Then you fought once in 2010. 11, you missed 2013. And then you fought once again in 2014 and twice last year. Why was there so many gaps in between your career? Was it just not having a tough time getting fights, or what was sort of the deal there?
Mainly it was tough time getting fights. The big long gap was I had a bit of an injury, and so that kept me out. But it was mostly getting fights. Being out from Victoria, BC, definitely when I started, a lot of the action was happening down in Alberta. So it was hard to get fights because, like rumor starts getting around and people don't want to fly you out to beat the local guy, you know? So it was a real big struggle. It was also, I mean, I also had a really good coach who didn't really feel like I needed to be rushed either, because where I didn't come from an athletic background, so I had zero athletic experience. So it was good to uh, build up that way, get the proper experience in the proper amount of time. This is about to get some experience and then train hard and experience and train hard. So it actually ended up working out for me in the long run, really.
Well, I'd say so. I mean, you're fighting for the UFC now, so I think that was
Yeah.
quite the strategy there. Now, this most recent layoff. I mean, you haven't fought since July of 2015. Why was the layoff in this case? Was it the same thing, just not getting fights, or were you dealing with injuries?
I was dealing with a bit of an injury. That was more nagging, and and I really didn't want to take a fight until it was a little better, and it just started to kind of crest of being feeling like good enough that I can train super hard there like a month or so ago. So
Interesting. Now, what I think is so cool about this fight, I mentioned off the top that you're taking on Adam Hunter, and by the way, that's Adam Hunter the fighter, not Adam Hunter the comedian from MMA Roasted. I know some people might get confused with that. Was Adam someone that was even on your radar prior to signing with the UFC? Just with the fact that he's a middleweight fighter in Canada, there can't be too many of those out there.
yeah, me and him being in the top 10, and I was probably approached January, February about maybe fighting him for his title out east. So he's definitely been on my radar. I could do the fight because of I was on a contract with Battlefield and my little injury, but yeah, he's totally been on my radar. For me, it was anybody in the top 10. In Canada, I needed to fight to kind of boost my own status in Canada to kind of get this. So I think it's kind of awesome that we're both fighting in the UFC kind of for that. One of the best middleweights in Canada.
Absolutely, and I think it's so cool too because we don't see this too often. Two Canadians, especially, making their debuts at the same time against each other. I guess you'd have to go back to the Tough Nations finale when you had Laprise and Olivier fighting each other, and of course Elias and Sheldon Westcott. But I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool that you guys are going to be squaring off. Initial thoughts on the matchup when you found out you'd be fighting him. How do you sort of see yourself matching up against him?
I match up pretty well. He just seems like a big puncher. So it's just a matter of not getting hit, which always doesn't work. But I feel my chin can take a bit of it, and just my I think my cardio is going to be a big factor in this fight, and being able to push him to the second and third round.
Awesome. And you mentioned your training camp there a little bit. You train at Zuma Martial Arts, great camp. People might know a couple of your teammates there, Sarah Kaufman being sort of the most notable one. Who are some of the people that are going to be helping you get ready as far as training partners and things like that for this fight?
Oh, well, I think you interviewed Alexi there
Of
a little while
course.
ago.
Oh yeah, you bet.
Yeah, he's a big help. He's always there. Um, Training partner of mine, his name is Dustin Joyson. He's a heavyweight MMA fighter. And then there's another person called Adam Braywood.
Okay.
He's a heavyweight boxer
Oh, cool.
that's
Okay.
just started back up in Edmonton. Yeah, so I have a lot of big heavy guys punching me right now at this in this training camp, and then a couple of my jiu-jitsu guys. I got my jiu-jitsu black belt a couple weeks ago, and one of the guys who got his black belt the same day as me, Dan Truck. He's always been here to help, like grappling and wrestling.
Nice. You got all the bases covered. That's excellent. Now you fight at middleweight. Are you a guy that has to cut a lot of weight to get to that weight class, or are you someone that does it with ease?
Uh, I guess I cut about 15 pounds, but it's never been a problem for me. Never been a problem for me. I've always hit my mark. Generally, I'm actually underweight. So my last few fights were for the title out in BFL, and I normally weigh in at like 183.5. No problem, no trouble at all.
Good stuff. I gotta get a prediction for this fight. August 27th. How do you see this fight ending?
I'm going to go with rear naked choke in the second round. Stick with my bread and butter.
Absolutely. I was going to say, yeah, I figured you were going to say submission in this one. Now, we've talked all about Ryan James, the fighter, and obviously, training and everything else in your career. But what do you like outside the cage? What do you like doing in your downtime when you're not punching people in the face?
I don't know, just normal people do. Watch movies, Netflix, drink some beer, relax, play board games with my friends.
Nice. I like it. You watching anything good on Netflix right now? What's something I'd be finding on your my list right now?
Right now, the new season of Archer just came out, so that's what I've been filling up with in between the second and third season of Rick and Morty, which is one of my favorite shows right now. Yeah.
Nice, very good selection there. Very good selection. All right, before I let you go here, I got to ask this as someone who's from British Columbia myself. Have you been converted to a Canucks fan yet? I got to know.
I'm not gonna lie, I really don't watch much hockey. I was never all my brothers watched all the sports in the family, and I just never really had time for between video games and cartoons.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I know your teammate there, Tyler Dolby. I know he's probably making up a good portion of the Canucks fans at your gym. So I'll let him take that torch, so to speak. But Ryan,
Right.
I really appreciate you joining me here on the program, especially with this news just being announced. People got to check it out. UFC on Fox 21, August 27th. This man right here is going to be taking on Adam Hunter. Ryan, appreciate the time. Just remind my audience where they can get a hold of you on social media, and if you got any thank yous, any shout outs, anything like that, man, the floor is yours.
Oh, for sure. You can check me out on my Twitter at Ryan James MMA. And I would like to thank Adam Zuchek and Sarah Kaufman and everyone at Zuma Martial Arts, and of course my manager Mark Pavlich, who kind of made this deal happen so fast.